is as fragile as the planet. This kind of shite, you know. So that's there was a lot of even though it's Hollywood, there was a lot of things there that were really based on what's happening. So. You know, having said all that, you know, about the complacency in activism, I think part of the problem is that, I mean, you're an educator. You have researched this well. You're in the game for very long. A lot of people that I meet as doing this radio show read an article and then turn vegan and really want to change this, but don't even know that there's a difference between animal welfare and animal rights. You know, so it's all these terminology, and they get quite stuck in it. So, and then you have people that say like the world is vegan if you want it, you know, which doesn't help anyone.
Yeah, I want it. And guess what? It's not vegan. I get the point, but that's a very naive slogan.
Yeah, I know, but so they are also again, you know, bombarded by a movement that is presented to them. And you know, and I actually, you know, I'm an activist myself, and I still think, you know, when I see friends of mine leafleting in front of fur shops, just like you mentioned in the beginning, there is value in it, in a sense. But let's just say you have a young guy, young girl that says, I really want to do something that makes it easier to change things. Do you have any advice for them? What would be in your idea a good way for an activist to start out? What is the action that you think would get them far?
Well, let me say something that just to back up again for a second, because you said something very important. That we have this vegan movement. Sometimes there's a certain dominant strain to it, certainly here in the United States, and they call themselves vegan abolitionists, nonviolence, and pacifists, and all this. And they love to remind us that pacifism doesn't mean non-activism. Well, guess what? It pretty much does, because these are people who are not only against violence. That whatever violence is, please don't play the game of the state and not define that term and make it so vague that just about anything fits into that, because that's what they do. And they call people like me who support sabotage pro-violence. Guess what? I'm not pro-violence. I'm pro-tactics that work for animals. But we have this situation here where people are not only opposed to quote-unquote violence, which they include the mean sabotage, they're opposed to just about anything besides bedroom blogging and a little bit of some vague tactic called education. Now, if we had, for instance, in the United States, if we had a movement that truly believed in Martin Luther King, because all these people, they pay lip service to Martin Luther King, we might have something. I don't even think we need sabotage or we need anything beyond that, certainly. If we had people who were active, if we had active activists, because these people are not only opposed to so-called violent tactics, they're opposed to civil disobedience. They're opposed to it seemingly any kind of action that doesn't take place behind a computer. And so we've got this digital spectacle now that has a paralysis on the movement, where people think that they're being active if they send out a petition, if they do a blog. Sometimes these are fine things, but they're not enough, and we've got to take it back out into the streets. And so, you know, what's happened to the word activist has become severely diluted, and I think we've lost the meaning of this. And again, if we want a King-like movement, and if you're going to talk about Martin Luther King, then get in the streets and take people into the streets and try to get thousands of people in the streets and do civil disobedience. Or is that violent too? Remember, King wanted to fill the jails with singing children. Let's try to do that for the animals. So we have these nonviolent pacifists who really are, in fact, far too passive, really aren't doing enough action. And blogging and occasional university lecture, or I say this for myself, writing a book or anything, this is not enough. And it's not enough to go vegan. It's not enough to go vegan. You have to get involved in social movements. And if you understand these systems of oppression operate holistically, then it's important to get involved with peace, justice, anti-war, anti-violence, anti-racist, anti-sexist movements too. All this stuff hangs together. So for the person who's coming into activism today, to get to your question now, that we want to get excited and we want to get involved with things. I would think first know your history, know what kind of movements that have been done in the past, and know that just about every movement has had a hard line, militant, radical edge, and that this is a normal part of change, and don't demonize it when you find it in your own movement. If you're not comfortable with that, respect it for what it is and find the way in which you're comfortable. But get out of the lifestyle activism, right? Join a social movement. Do what you need to do in your own life to make sure that you're living as ethically and as ecologically sound as you can. But be out there and trying to shake up things in the streets with protests and with demonstrations. And even this, try to do this creatively. Try to have a maximum impact. Don't stand there with a sign. Let's get past this paradigm of holding signs quietly, passively, non-violently. Let's find a way to stop things. To go back to King and Gandhi again, I think actually, if people want to really do something, well, go back and study King and Gandhi. Their primary emphasis was put a break in the system, throw a shoe in the machine, right? Sabotage, literally. Create a confrontation. This is what King and Gandhi did. They didn't wait for the confrontation came to them. They made the confrontation. Let's find a way to make confrontations in our society. Let's find a way to stop traffic, literally and metaphorically. Let's find a way to get this issue out there and make them really, really deal with it. Let's find a way so that it's no longer business as usual. Let's not let our protests and demonstrations just be a part of the daily news. And everybody forgets about the next day. Let's find a way to really stop things from proceeding as they do normally.
I mean, the interesting thing is oftentimes, when you go vegan, then the battle that you have on your hands when you're the only vegan in the family is no different to doing it on a larger scale, really, isn't it? I mean, you through your actions, you're sort of trying to educate people in a way. I'm still thinking, in my mind, is I personally still think energetically having people on the streets, even when they have a World Day for Animals in Laboratories or whatever it is, does send a reminder. I know you want people to do more, but if I understand it correctly, I mean, you're not saying that they shouldn't be doing this at all. You're just saying they should not be only doing this on that one given day.
Yeah, a real diversity of tactics. I mean, I do the vegan outreach, I do the education, and then I do the normal things. The animal rescue and the adoption and the homing and the rehoming. I do all that, and I think maybe people think that I just go out at night with my mask on. But I do all the normal things that the so-called pacifists and vegans do. But I also try to look at the true plurality of tactics that we need and to just inject a little sanity and historical perspective in this context, that these are part of the struggle too. And I'm sorry for those people who say these things are never effective. I will debate anyone on this point anytime, and you are going to lose, because I have a historical tally sheet and record sheet that is as long as the state of Texas of how many times these tactics have worked, and things weren't just, animals weren't just replaced, fur farms didn't just start back up. No, these tactics can be very effective. But you know what? Again, the real big picture is social change, institutional change. We have got to change this system. We have a global capitalist system that is unsustainable. You can run into the limits of nature, and we have run into the limits of nature. And this is where we are in the historical trajectory of our existence. We have been on this planet in some form or another for 5 to 7 million years. We have been Homo sapiens for maybe 100, 200,000 years. Modern Homo sapiens sapiens for maybe 40, 50,000 years. And we have taken ourselves this far in a fairly short period of time. And the planet has told us, stop, that's enough, that's it. We have exceeded every local ecosystem that we could have in this history, and we have now run into the limits of the planetary system, and there is nowhere left to go. And we either are going to make these decisive revolutionary changes now, or we are never going to make them at all, and we will fail. Other Homo species have failed and they are extinct. There's no reason why Homo sapiens will not be just a trace memory, some form of plastic left